Hey guys, Spin Pixie here. Hopefully this is a less rambly TN chat. It's like, I went off on some tangents. Like, if my chats are a mountain, I went off the trail so many times. So, anyway, I have a TN chat for you guys, but I party fouled and forgot my tea, so I just started chatting. Hopefully you guys have tea or coffee. Good morning! I'm gonna try to have this up, probably, hopefully, before the West Coasty people are awake, or maybe I'll post it tomorrow morning. Maybe I'll have this posted for tomorrow morning. So, good morning. I'm awake. Let's see. It would be like at least 3:30 for me, 6:30 for you guys on the East Coast. So, yeah, let's pretend, okay? And I'm up in the morning with you guys, so hi. Okay, so things are crazy at the house of Spin at the moment. This one is still having her cough issue, so if you hear my little one hacking away, she's perfectly fine. Well, she's not perfectly fine, she's okay, but I don't know, this cough came and it hasn't gone, and we can't figure out what's going on with her at the moment, so we're trying another vet. I don't know. She's my unfortunately sick one. My familiar, thank the gods, doesn't put me through what this one puts me through. Because I couldn't handle it for both of them. So yeah. So if you hear any hacking away, that's my poor baby Kai. Okay, so anyway, lots of stuff to talk about. Okay, so where to begin? Okay, I have a funny little story to talk to you guys about. So for the past month or so, I've been moving out of this house, and I don't know if I've really full on talked about it, but I can now because everything's all bought and paid for and whatnot. So I'm in the middle of something, and I can't talk to you guys about everything just yet. But as there are results, I can talk to you guys about them, about the phases being complete. Gosh, how long ago did I even start this? Let me look. I have my book here where I planned everything out. Take stuff off the book, Sashi. Nuts. I didn't write down. I didn't write down the day that I did this like a dork. But it's because I was planning it. I was just done. I was just, okay. So, let me go back a little while. So, back in July, when I stopped working, I had been trying to find jobs, and I'd been getting interviews up the wazoo. Like, seriously, I'd gotten a ton of interviews, but I didn't get hired. And from what everyone tells me, I'm a great interviewer. So, the fact that I wasn't getting hired just didn't fit. And I just sat down, and I was like, why am I not getting hired? What's going on here? And I realized something very important. And I wasn't getting hired because I didn't want to get hired. I didn't want to get hired because I don't want to be here anymore. I adore this house. I adore all of the things that led me here. And just everything about this house, it says that this was where I was supposed to be at the time I was here. And I always felt like if I left here, I'd be taking all of that for granted and spitting on the universe for giving me such a gift, especially right when I needed it. But the truth of the matter is that right now it's not feasible for me to stay here. And rather than growing, rather than using this place to be something of, to draw from, it's become a place of stagnation, and I'm comfortable here. I could live out the rest of my days comfortable here. But it wouldn't be it wouldn't be what I'm capable of. And I've just decided that for once I'm going to allow myself to think of myself as capable of more. And at that point, I said, okay, well, what do I do? Like, what do I want, and how do I get there? And I sat down and I planned everything out. And it was, the best way I can describe it is laying the line work like you would in a picture, just kind of going over my paper, sketching out what I want. And to get from A to Z, because it is an A to Z process, there's so many points that you have to make it to in between. And so I just basically gave myself the big steps, and as I go on, I'm going to put in those little details. But the first step was to get my computer replaced. That'll let me know that the magic is in the motion. And, of course, I now have my computer. And the next thing was for me to, the next thing was supposed to be the move. But it didn't quite happen that way. It happened out of order a little bit, where I was able to get the funding for my school that I want to do. So I was able to get my schooling funded so that I could go to school, so that I could have skills for a better trade than caregiving, because quite frankly I can't do it. My heart just can't be in it because of all of the shit that you see in those facilities. And I just can't. I can go on a rant, a tangent, whatever about it, but the caregiving system in this country is deplorable. And if you have somebody in that care system, never go more than 2 days without seeing them. Just for yourself, for them, most importantly, never go more than 2 days. And while you're there, pay attention to the little things, the little nuances, the looks on the caregivers' faces when they're caring for your person, and just because those little things can tell you a lot. And get them away, get your person away from that place, take them out to lunch, take them somewhere and let them talk. Is there something going on that they don't feel comfortable talking about when they're there? There's just a lot of shit in that area that I could tell you. I could write a book on it. And I just don't want to do it anymore. I realize that I could be, there's this lady, when I first started, her name was Samantha, and no matter how shitty the other caregivers were, no matter how horrible the patients were to her, she just remained calm and collected, and she was somebody who I have great admiration for, who does this job, because she held it together, and she was great to them, and she was never bad to them, even when your back was turned. She just was a decent human being. But that is one in the over 50 caregivers that I interacted with throughout the year and a half that I was working in a facility, 2 different facilities. And it's just a horrible business. Their motto is heads in beds, and they don't care. They don't care. They just don't care. And so I didn't want to go back to that field. I wanted something different. And so I was going for different jobs and not getting hired. And I just realized it was me, because I didn't want to be here anymore. I was just done. I was just done with all of it, like California, everything in general. So I sketched out my plan, and the first thing would be to go back to school, learn a new trade. And that's what I'm in the process of doing. My textbooks are on their way. I start school very soon, and that's like phase 2. And then I'm also beginning the moving process. I can't remember. Let me look real quick, because I don't want to repeat myself. So anyway, I might have talked about it in the last week chat that I did, because it's been something that's kind of coming to fruition slowly but surely. And so now that I'm doing the schooling, getting ready for my move, things are going. Things are going in the way that thus far that I would hope that they would. I have some interesting and fun things coming up that you guys will probably see on this channel. I'm finally taking my trip. Damn it. I know back in February maybe I talked about going on a trip. This is something that was supposed to have happened, God, I don't know, maybe she'll know if she's watching this video, when I was supposed to go out and see her, and she knows who she is. I even, I don't know, God, it seems like forever ago. I think originally I was supposed to go around Christmas time, and then it got moved to February, and then it got moved to July, and then finally September. And we're supposed to go to the Fairy Worlds thing with Wardruna and Fawn, but I don't know if we're going to end up going, because it's very hard to find out when. I only want to see Wardruna and Fawn. Those are the only bands I really want to see. Everyone else I'm sure is fine, but I just really want to see Wardruna, because it's, I think, one of their last tours, because Ragnarok is their last album for the project. It was never meant to be like an ongoing thing, and which makes me so sad. And yes, I liked them pre-Vikings, thank you. But yeah, like, if we don't go, that's fine, but, because I just want to go and see my friend, and that's really what matters. But it would be awesome if we did, at least just to see Wardruna. Because Fawn I can still see. But yeah, so I have my trip coming up, and I'm stoked about that. That'll happen around my birthday. So yeah, and I'm hoping I can see more than one person while I'm up there. So, I'm planning on moving very slowly but surely to my goal, and I was hoping that it would be reach its culmination next year. But when next year, I don't know. I can tell you one thing. I would really, really prefer this to be my last summer in California. I've lived in New York. I've lived all over California. I've lived in different places. So living out of state is not new to me, but this will be definitely different, and that's what I planned. But yeah, so a lot of my stuff has been going toward my plan, and in the course of that, I've been moving things out. So, I wanted to give like board games and stuff to the women's shelter, and I was looking for a women's shelter in my neighborhood, but they just don't have one. So finally, I settled on the National Epilepsy Foundation of California. And they were fine on the phone making the appointment. But once it came to them picking up the items, the lady's tone just totally changed. And she was like, okay, so we have you scheduled for blah, 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 blah. And she goes, all items must be labeled perfectly. Da-da-da-da-da. And she told me what to label them. She goes, if they are not labeled as I specified, they will not be picked up by the driver. If your items are not visible curbside, they will not be picked up. Like, her total tone just changed. And I said, well, okay, but I tried to explain to her how my house is, because it's wonky, right? And people can't find it. And, you know, I tried to explain that to her, and she's just totally not willing to hear me out. So I said, okay, fine. You guys are obviously not going to come through my gate. That's okay. I'll put my stuff where you guys can see it, you know? But if they don't pick it up or whatever, I don't know. It's just all going to go in the trash, because I cannot be holding on to this stuff anymore. But I did want to give the board games to a women's shelter, and sadly I can't find one. Because I'm sure that those times, if you're there at a women's shelter, you know, it's trying times, and I'm sure board games, you know, won't fix anything, but it'll take your mind off the situation, perhaps, you know. Especially if they're, you know, if they have their kids. Because a lot of them were, like, kids' board games that we don't play because all the kids in my family are grown up. So, yeah. So I got rid of that stuff. That stuff is all out of my house now. I need to finish packing. And then once I finish packing, then probably sometime in either September or October I'll be moving. And I don't have as much stuff as some people do, but I have far too much stuff to pack. I hate packing. Like, seriously, I hate packing. Ugh. So, anyway, I'm at this point just cleaning things out, working on studies, and that's kind of my day right now. So, I was thinking, to kind of change the subject a little bit, I was thinking, how cool it would be to have a morning show of witches. Like, just different witches who chat about things that are important to witches. Like, just, I know witches don't talk a whole lot of politics, but certain things that happen in politics could be bad for us. I'm sorry, but if Trump wins, like, I'm gonna, like, put shields around wherever I am, because it's only a matter of time before his intolerances come to religion, and that could be bad for all witches. And, well, actually, no, he does have a sort of intolerance toward religion, but right now, sadly, it's focused on Muslim people. And it's only a matter of time before it makes the rounds, especially if he's president. So, like, I would like to have a morning show of just witches talking about stuff that's appropriate for the morning, different from our witches chats. Like, if you guys have ever watched the witches chats that we do, they're not appropriate for morning. Those are more the prime time type of thing. So, yeah, I mean, just to talk about, like, for example, okay, a lot of people who don't practice magic, a lot of people who don't, like, for lack of a better term, just to show you where I'm coming from, a lot of muggles will be like, well, you're a witch, right? You can just wiggle your ears or twitch your nose and have your magic happen, right? Okay, no. Like, this is kind of the thing that I would discuss. Like, obviously, if you've ever seen a witch with a dirty house, or especially a witch who has children and has a dirty house or a messy house, you'll know that we can't do that shit. But how wonderful it would be if in the unlocking of the other 95% of our brains, we learned how to do those things. Because it would just, I'd be packed, I'd be moved, I'd be so far ahead of where I am now. But that'd be cool to have, like, a morning show of witches, just so that when you're drinking your coffee or your tea, they can, you could be watching the morning show with the witches. And we would probably have to tape it at night, so that way it'd be ready for the morning for when people wake up, because there's all kinds of times that people wake up. But I think it'd be fun, like a half an hour just of yakking about stuff. Let me know if you're interested. That could be something we could put together. I don't know, it'd be fun. Because I would do it myself, but frankly, I just don't have a lot to say. You guys know, I haven't really put out a video in a while. Like, I'm sporadic lately, because I've just been more about the being silent, and just, I don't really have much to say these days. And I don't know, it's not that I don't have, like, interesting things come into my brain. It's just, I don't know. I think I've developed a slightly more self-conscious way of being on my channel somehow. I don't know. I see videos from when I began and then videos from now. And for some strange reason, they're a lot funner in the beginning. When I thought nobody was watching me, and nobody's watching me, right? So, YouTube, like, no one's watching you. That's what the message should be here. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm getting hungry, so I'm gonna go eat breakfast soon. But before I do, I wanted to talk about a couple of things. Okay. And I forgot to talk about them in the last take, so that means that I can actually delete the last take. Hold on. I'm actually going to do this live on the air. Or not, because it's not letting me do it. Okay. 2 things I wanted to talk about. I've been doing a lot of reading lately. And often when I read, my mind kind of wanders. It doesn't matter if I'm reading a storybook or a magic book. And oftentimes my mind wanders. So I was reading Advanced Planetary Magic, and I just got stuck on the music part, because there's a part where he talks about music. and vowels to cast the circle, using your vowels to cast the circle and stuff. And I am so in love with music and using that in my magic that I got stuck on this. So it led me to start reading this other book, and I just had to stop because I was going down a rabbit hole, and there was just not going to be any stopping if I didn't stop myself. So I said, okay, so we're just going to put this aside for a minute. We'll come back to that. But as I'm reading things, it kind of, my mind wanders a little bit. And so this is where I am with what I'm reading. Okay, so I started thinking about our signs, like our sun signs and especially our moon signs. Whenever we meet somebody, especially for witchy, at some point, we ask when your birthday is, and we do our little witchy workup of what we know of the signs and, where you are in that sign or whatever. And, we tend to, give our sun signs when we're talking to people. But, what I think we should actually start doing is giving our lunar signs and not so much our sun signs, because I think it's more important to get a grasp of how people interact emotionally versus just how they are in general. Because technically, we don't really deal with the person in general. When we're making friends or when we have friends, a lot of the times it gets emotional, especially in this community. And it would just be good to know, do you have somebody who might have an oversensitive lunar sign or a very combative lunar sign? Do we have somebody who's a combative lunar sign and somebody who's an oversensitive lunar sign becoming friends, and that leading to a lot of conflict? I think it's just something that we should really pay attention to. So, I'm bringing my idea here because I talked to you guys about all my half-baked ideas and get your opinion on it. I was actually going to talk about this a little bit on the biophilic this week, but I didn't. I decided not to do that video because I just, I don't know. I think I want to have more information, of course, before I do the video, but also, I don't know. It's just, I have trouble doing videos for my own channel, let alone another channel, and I don't mean to speak to sound like I'm speaking badly or negatively toward the biophilic. I love that channel, and I have a passion for doing videos for that channel. But sometimes it's just like to get to do a video. First of all, for me, I don't think I seem like this on camera, but I'm really self-conscious, and I have a lot of it takes a lot to get me to do a video sometimes, and for my channel, it's one thing because it's my channel, and you can either watch it or not, and I don't care, But for a collab channel, it's a little different because I try to really put some interesting ideas out there, and I try to really talk about stuff that's interesting, But if I don't feel something's interesting enough, I can't put it out there. And so I just hate doing video for the sake of doing video, and I don't want to not work on that channel because I think it's a lot of great collaborators. Eva, Toy, Lors, they're great people, We've had some wonderful collaborators in the past, and, we're getting new collaborators all the time over there. But it's just, I don't want to not put out what I consider a good video for that channel. So, on my channel, it's not that I don't care, but it's my channel, If I have a half-baked idea, I'll bring it up during tea and chat, let you guys talk about it with me, and, do it that way. And then you guys spark me. You guys help me formulate the things that I'm, that are half-baked, that I bring half-baked here, So yeah, so I feel more free to chat, like, on my channel than I do over there. Not that anyone has said anything, of course. It's just, this is my space, and I guess I keep my mess in my space. My tea and chats are just my rambly blah time that you guys seem to enjoy, and I greatly appreciate it. So I think I'm going to get out of here because I've rambled long enough, and you guys are probably done with your coffee and breakfast, and probably lunch by this time. So anyway, I will talk to you guys soon, and yeah, bright blessings, take care. Bye-bye.